All right, so it's been a minute since all the situation with Mr. Beast came out, and I wanted to wait before I like made a video on this. I wanted to wait and see like what might come out of it, right? In my experience, in my from what I've seen in the on the internet, usually when shit like this comes out, it's a pretty bad idea to unless you're reporting on it, it's a pretty bad idea to just like within seconds just give your opinion and be like, "Oh, well, this that without like more information coming out. So I did want to wait to see if anything for a few reasons. One, I wanted to wait for Mr. Beast to make a response. As of recording, I don't think he has, apart from like the whole we're gonna do a whole investigation type situation. And yeah, like Mr. Beast has yet to say anything about it. And honestly, in my opinion, that's what he should do, but I'll explain in a second. And then uh and then I know about the whole Ava Chris situation. I know that's like 100% confirmed. Like that woman was she was all up in them little boys. It was actually kind of weird how many how many that came out and it was proven to be true. It was actually kind of odd, but yeah, that's I don't know. 2024 is the year of the PDF files. You know, everybody's being caught, bro. Everybody's being caught. It's actually kind of odd, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah. So basically, I don't know all the facts, which is why no, I wanted to wait. But I have a video here from Oompaville. I've actually never heard of this guy, but clearly he's very big. And this video just popped up, and I was like, okay, let's watch it. See if he gives all the information about it. Apparently, there's more about what's going on, like how like the Mr. Beast games, how he's treating people on his set. Um, some of which I can understand, but from a legality sense, nothing's gonna happen from it because I assume Mr. Beast, like all the contestants for like either his YouTube videos or like the new Mr. Beast game shows and all that, I would assume that like he's made them all sign contracts saying like, hey, or like not contracts, like waivers, making some all sign waivers being like, hey, like we will do our utmost to protect you, but understand this show has a concept and you know we aren't responsible for you know yada yada yada, you know what I mean? I would assume that's what Mr. Beast did, but that's just assumption at this point. No, that's not actually true. That's just what I think. And if he did do that, then legally, and if he did anything similar to that, where like if he made any of the contestants sign anything before, like any of like the Mr. Beast games or any of the videos that people are complaining about, if there was any signing about that, legality wise, Mr. Beast is fine. Nothing's gonna happen to him. But like reputation, social media wise, then that's gonna take a hit. But from what I believe, right, and from really what I believe, right, this is probably gonna be a hot take. This is probably gonna take that a lot of people aren't gonna like. And it's not like oh, Mr. Beast did nothing wrong. No, definitely Mr. Beast could have. There's definitely a lot of things Mr. Beast could have done differently. Which if he did do differently, he wouldn't be in this situation, right? But the hot take that I'm talking about is I genuinely believe if Mr. Beast doesn't he doesn't say anything, he doesn't reply, he doesn't like address this, right? If he doesn't address this and just continues to upload videos and continue to do his philanthropy thing where he goes and saves like 100 children from Africa, right? He just goes and does his thing, and then like I don't know, maybe in like a month or two, he'll probably just like release an investigation and be like, hey, this is what happened. This is what we were told. The third party investigation. This is it. This is results. If you don't like it, whatever. Right? If he just does something like that, I promise you by 2025, no one's going to care. I promise you by 2025, if he does not talk about this, sure, he might burn bridges. There might be a lot of influencers that won't talk to him, but it doesn't matter because he's the biggest one. He doesn't need them. That's straight up truth. Mr. Beast does not need any of these creators to make a video that gets hundreds of millions of views. He doesn't need them. So even if it burns bridges, like you have to understand something. When you're at the top of anything, the rules bend differently for you. Sure, Mr. Beast might lose a lot of connections. Like I know Ludwig said he's not gonna support him. I know like probably a lot of the influencers said they're not gonna support him. But it really doesn't matter because he can make a video that gets 100 million views and he doesn't need them. He doesn't even have to be in it. He doesn't have to be in it. That's the kind of guy Mr. Beast is. He makes a video that makes hundreds of million views, and he doesn't need to be in it. He doesn't need anybody to make a video that makes 100 million views. So even if he burns bridges, it doesn't matter. He's at the top. He doesn't need them, right? So I genuinely believe if Mr. Beast just says nothing, continues to upload videos, and then just releases the investigation and just continues on with life, by 2025, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna bring this up anymore. And he's gonna start gaining subscribers again. He'll probably still lose a bunch of subscribers until like probably well into 2025. But if he just doesn't say anything, continues to upload, people are gonna forget, and people are gonna start subscribing again. And that's the God honest truth. That's what I genuinely believe, right? And the reason why I believe this is because the internet has proven this time and time again. The internet has proven time and time again that when you have a lot of money, really nothing bad happens to you, right? I'll give you a perfect example of why I believe nothing's really going to come of this, right? There is a company. There's a company that a lot of people really fucking hate right now. And that company is called Blizzard Entertainment. I don't know if any of you've heard of this company. Very, very small indie company, right? They need all the help they can get. Very small indie company called Activision Blizzard, right? Blizzard Entertainment, Activision Blizzard. Small company. I'm sure no one's ever heard of it. But back in I think it was 2021 or 2022. One of those two years. It's 2021 or 2022. They got sued by the state of California because of horrible treatment of their employees, and like a bunch of practices that were going on that were very unethical. And it was so bad to the point where a woman who was working there actually deleted herself because it was that bad. Working at Blizzard was that bad. And she actually deleted herself. And you know what happened? They did an internal investigation from a company that they hired, and then Bobby Kotick sold the company for $70 billion. That's what fucking happened. That's what came of that. That's what came of that. Nothing. That's what happens when you're at the top 1%. The rules don't apply to you, or they bend differently. And it's the same thing with Mr. Beast. All this shit that's going on right now, it doesn't it might affect his social media presence, but it doesn't matter, because all these influencers say that they're going to cut ties with Mr. Beast. He doesn't need them. He can make a video that makes 200 million views without even him in it. He doesn't need them, right? All the sponsors that are saying that we're not going to sponsor Mr. Beast anymore, they couldn't pay to sponsor him anyways. He gets more views than the fucking Super Bowl. He doesn't. They aren't able to pay him enough to sponsor him anyways for the traction that he gets. So it doesn't matter. That's why the situation is so nuanced, because it's happening to somebody where a lot of the consequences that would be for normal people, they're not consequences for him, because he's just that big. Right. But anyways, I'm yapping. I know I'm yapping. I know you're saying shut the fuck up, but that's just my insight on what's going on. Let's watch the video and figure out more about what's going on with this whole situation.
We're talking about Mr. Beast again today. Mr. Beast, if you didn't know, is YouTube's cash cow and the golden boy who has been on the grind for quite some time, and he's reached heights that no other creator has ever probably even dreamed of, and especially has never achieved before.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When you're at the top, bro, he's pulling, as a single person, he's pulling out. Has more reach than like a lot of fucking companies, a lot of businesses. And that's just the kind of pull he is. That's the dude. That's the situation we're dealing with right now.
That being said, YouTube's biggest creator has been in some very hot water in the past few weeks.
Trouble in Beastland? Mr. Beast is facing controversy on several different fronts, and all this comes at a terrible time, right when Amazon is investing potentially hundreds of millions of dollars into the Beast games.
Beginning in the last week of July and continuing to this day, Mr. Beast and his entire company have been under extreme scrutiny.
He is the #1 YouTube star, said to be worth $500 million, and his empire is having a little bit of trouble, and he's in a little bit of hot water.
So we have the whole Ava Tyson situation that we've covered. The timeline of that is very clear, and after that, a former employee by the name of Dawson, aka Dogpack404, released an hour-long video detailing claims that Mr. Beast and his crew were running illegal lotteries and faking videos.
It's insane that
Yeah, so I didn't hear about that. The illegal lotteries. Illegal lotteries, I do think that is something that does need to be addressed. Refund, right? You don't want another crypto suit situation. Just, if I was Mr. Beast, just give him the money back. It's not that big a deal. It is what it is. Give the money back. It'll actually reflect better on you. But at the same time, here's the thing. I think he should refund everybody. I 100% agree. He should, when it comes to illegal lotteries, 100% give everybody their fucking money back. It's the right thing to do. It's unethical. You need to give their fucking money back. But the sad part is, I don't think he needs to. I think he should. But I don't think he needs to, because once again, if he just doesn't talk about it, continues to upload, and just never brings it up again, people are gonna forget. By 2025, people are gonna forget. Because here's the thing I've learned when it comes to the internet. Unless it's something that everybody universally agrees upon that is horrible, people will forget it. They will. Right? This is not a situation where everybody 100% agrees that Mr. Beast is an asshole for this, because people will defend Mr. Beast. Because at the same time, you're talking about a guy who cured blindness and like saved people home. This is a guy who's done more for the lower class than a lot of governments, right? And that's the truth, right? So a lot of people are going to come to his defense. A lot of people aren't going to agree with this situation, and it's because of that discourse that it will eventually lead to people to forgetting. This isn't an EDP situation where everybody agrees that this person's a piece of shit and shouldn't be on the platform. This is like a I don't want to say 50-50, but this is like a 60-40. 60 people disagree with Mr. Beast, 40% disagree with Mr. Beast, and it's because of that percentage that like it's gonna cause discourse that's going to cause a lot of people to just eventually just get sick and tired and exhausted and just stop talking about it. And that's essentially what's probably going to happen.
He can flip these massively profitable illegal lotteries.
And then as for the whole faking his videos, a lot of people claim that he faked his videos. To just people just saying that people just claim that his videos are heavily edited, which heavily edited doesn't immediately mean fake. It just means visual effects, right? Just because he had a clip of a train and then the train exploded doesn't mean the train didn't exist or the train wasn't in the video. They just added an explosion for flair, but the train was in the video. You know what I mean? It doesn't make it fake. It's just visual effects.
Targeted towards children as an act of generosity.
I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to go place an order at shopmrbeast.com. Anyone watching any of the lives. And we're going to throw iPhones in some of them.
So Dawson has put out a part 2 after the massive success and resonance of his part 1 video. I interviewed him about it. It's been...
Well, that one video, I think that's the only video. That was the only video on his channel, and he gained like not 500,000, but he gained like over 300K subs from that one video. So he's like, damn, now I got to make a part 2. So why would he not make a part 2?
Going viral. It has like 12 or 13 million views at the time of recording this. Part 2, also an hour-long video. The contents of part 2 are even more damning evidence than the first. And the first
I saw this clip.
Pretty bad.
Even if that guy...
Now I'm gonna say this. I hope this video gives more context on this clip, because I saw like a 1 minute clip of this guy talking about what happened on the Mr. Beast set, and I'm gonna be real. I honestly think this guy was kind of bitching a little bit. I'm keeping it real. I honestly think he was kind of bitching, like not actual complaining, just whining. But I'm hoping this video will give you more clarity, because that was just a 1 minute clip I saw on Twitter. So I'm hoping this video will give more clarity on this interview. But if there isn't more to what he's saying, like how he didn't turn the lights off when I was trying to sleep, and it's like I kind of feels like he's kind of just whining. I'm gonna be honest.
I didn't do anything. They still knew about it, and he was still around.
But it's important to note, we still do not have a response from Mr. Beast. There's been no debunking. There's been, it's just Dawson and the narrative that it wants to see Mr. Beast destroyed, essentially. I'm going to try to be as fair and balanced as I possibly can. Not Fox News style, but like, I don't know. What's fair? I don't know. I'm going to be reasonable, though. I'm going to try to be reasonable, guys. I will say, as of right now,
I think it's better to say I'm going to give my opinion.
Things are not looking good.
Nah, I'm going to be fair.
Jimmy Beast. Things are not.
I think the best thing is I'm going to give my opinion. No, I'm going to be fair. Because being fair is like, it's hard. You can't be fair to everybody, right? There's a lot of people that are going to take your fairness as you being an asshole, right? So it's easier just say I'm going to give my opinion, and then if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you agree with me, you agree with me. It is what it is, right?
Not looking good for the brand. It's pretty bad. And I'll go over the parts that I think are the worst at the end of the video. But first, let's do a recap of part 1 just to get you in the loop. On July 24th,
give us that One Piece
Dawson called
recap.
out Mr. Beast for being an attention casino manipulating children into consuming his brand.
Mr. Beast just uses gambling psychology to exploit young children for profit. He's just become the first casino where the currency you pay with is attention.
All parts of it.
And look, I as fucked up as this is gonna sound, that's not illegal. There's really, it might not be morally okay, but it's not unethical. It's not really unethical to do. It's just a business practice, right? It's just a business practice. At the end of the day, the children don't have credit cards. Their parents do, right? So it's like, look, I know it was gonna come like when it comes to business practices, you have to understand there's a difference between illegal and like immoral. Right? If it's not illegal, you can't really. You can say it's unethical. I'm not saying, like you say, it's predatory. Like I say all the time. Like I said, Genshin, like the gacha games, right? The monetization of gacha games is very predatory. It is. They use psychology to make you pay over and over and over again, and they do. But at the end of the day, even if it is predatory, it's still, you're the one still swiping your credit card. You cannot blame the company for you spending your own money. Right? That's just what it is. So like while his business practices may be like, it might be immoral, it's not illegal. You know what I mean? It's not like he's forcing you to buy his shit. He's influencing you to do it. He's inducing you to do it. But at the end of the day, you can still not swipe your card. You know what I mean? Like I know it sounds bad, but it's the truth.
The content, the toys, they have toys now, the candy, all that shit. In the video, he first alleges that Mr. Beast uses psychological manipulation tactics such as behavioral learning to trick his younger viewers into consuming more of his content.
Step 1 is getting the viewer to associate.
That's just a very deeply worded way of just saying he makes clickbait content. Because if that's not clickbait content, then what is? You know what I mean? Like you have to be 100% like you have to be 100% fair and reasonable to say he's psychologically manipulating kids. That's a bit of a stretch. He's just doing clickbait content. That's like if that's not like if I make a video and the title is Mr. Beast saved Africa, right? You're more inclined to click on that video because of the thumbnail or the title, and then I make a thumbnail with Mr. Beast and all these and these black kids, right? You're more likely going to click the video than if I said Mr. Beast created a formula to help all these African or not Mr. Beast. This white dude created a formula to help all these African kids better their lives in their horrible situations. Like that's a whole ass speech. A lot of people aren't going to click that. Or if I just say Mr. Beast saved black people, you're more likely to click on that, right? That's a psychological like manipulation, right? That's a clickbait title. That's just clickbait, right? That's just a very deeply worded way of saying Mr. Beast clickbaits his videos. It's just what it is.
The brand with trust and authority. Mr. Beast videos are real, and he's a great guy that gives away big rewards to his loyal followers. Step 2 is showing the viewers that when people interact with Mr. Beast in a way that benefits Mr. Beast, when they do what he tells them to do, they win big rewards.
Now, here's the thing. If he gives those rewards, then there's nothing wrong with that. If he didn't give those rewards that he says he would, then that's the issue. Then that is the issue, not the claiming, if you subscribe, I'll give you $1 million. Because if you subscribe and he gives you $1 million, then there's nothing wrong. It's a trade-off. You gave him what he wanted. He gave you what he said he was going to give you. It's a trade-off. There's nothing wrong with that.
And step 3 is finally calling on the viewer to act in some way that benefits the brand. Promising big rewards in return. Now it's your turn to do what Mr. Beast tells you, and you will win big rewards.
Dawson then goes on to claim that Mr. Beast fakes his videos and rigs his contestants.
Mr. Beast fakes his videos in ways that are worse than you realize. I say that because he's been exposed for faking videos before, and the common response is, why does it matter if the videos are fake? They're just meant to be entertainment.
I mean, that's a very valid argument. I mean, okay, let's tackle this from two sides. Number one, if it is true that he fakes his videos, a very valid argument is that, yeah, even if they're fake, they're still entertainment. Now that argument becomes void. It becomes mute and void when Mr. Beast himself is claiming that his videos aren't fake. Now, because then that means that he's lying, right? So it's not the fact that he's faking his videos, it's the fact that he's lying about faking the videos. That's the issue. But if he was just saying, no, I just make my videos, they're entertainment. Yeah, some of them are fake. It is what it is. Then, you know, he's not doing it. Once again, he's not doing anything wrong. But it's the fact that he's lying about faking the videos. But I'm assuming he has said that his videos are real. But that's coming from the standpoint that the videos are indeed fake. But from what I've seen, a lot of people claim that these videos are fake. They're just saying that they're heavily edited, right? Like, sure, there's CGI, there's explosions, but it doesn't mean the video in it of itself is fake. You know what I mean? Just because something is heavily like, if I were to take a picture of myself, right? If I were to take a picture right now, and then I added a filter that turned everything blue, right? Does that mean the picture is fake? Or is it just a heavy filter on it? You know what I mean? And it's just like, just because something is heavily edited does not mean it's fake.
A large part of Mr. Beast's brand is the fact that he doesn't fake videos.
Dawson also points out numerous instances in Mr. Beast's videos where things are clearly CGI'd in, which is kind of the antithesis of something being real. It's not real, it's fake. CGI, it's computer generated.
This train track is CGI, these bus wheels are CGI, this explosion is fake, this shredder is CGI, this car is digitally lifted.
But the argument in and of itself of the entire video being fake because there's a CGI train in it, that is like, that's where it becomes an issue, right? Now, for this specific video, I think it was, if there's a train, I think it was this video where like he crashes a train in the hole. If that's true, then yeah, the video is fake. But saying, once again, the concept of something being edited means that the video is fake, that's flawed. That is a flawed argument. That's what I mean. Because then by that logic, a picture with a filter on it means the picture is fake. You know what I mean? So it's like, for this specific video, yeah, I think you could make that argument that the video is fake. And I think it's more so the fact that like Mr. Beast is lying about faking his videos is the issue. But that's just my take on this. Like, saying something is fake just because there's editing in it or CGI does not mean the video in and of itself or the concept of the video is fake. Like the wheel spinning on a bus means that the video is fake. Like the editing and the wheels of spinning the wheels on the bus means that the video is fake. What if the bus is actually there, but he just spin the wheels? Who cares? You know what I mean? It's not fake.
Pit is fake, this guy is fake, this raccoon is a paid actor, this island costs more than $1, this city is not abandoned, these buildings are CGI, but it's not your only way out. You can literally get an Uber to the airport for $20. That's not a lurker, it's just a guy. This whole room is fake, this contestant is an actor and a secret employee at Mr. Beast. They had him dive through this fake door twice, this line is scripted, this action is scripted. In fact, pretty much all the videos with Mac are scripted.
He also claims, in unison with the CGI fake visuals claim, that a lot of the plots and narratives of the videos are fake as well, such as selling the island for $1, buying the island for $1, whatever the I don't know how that shit's possible, but I guess so. Additionally, Dawson alleges that Jimmy gives away some prizes to predetermined contestants, and specifically,
now the rigging and the whole like, now here's why I agree with the dude. The rigging and the whole like faking the concept of the videos, that's when I agree. Yeah, that shit's fake. That shit's fucked up. Because if you're claiming that you bought an island for $1, then buy the island for $1. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I agree. But just saying a video is fake, like if I were to, okay, no, I've talked on it a lot. You know how I feel about it. That's just my opinion. But when you talk about the concept of the video and you say, oh, okay, Mr. Beast bought an island for $1, but in actuality he bought it for $100. That's when I say, okay, yeah, then the concept of the video is fake. He's lying. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just trying to tackle this as openly as possible.
calls out this guy Mac, who is known to work within the company, and the videos that he is in are rigged to have
I'll try to stop yapping. I'll let the video play.
Some form of prize. I don't know why he likes that guy so much, but that guy seems to win a decent amount. You know, pretty standard amount, I think. Maybe.
Wait, he's about to be the first one out? That's unlike him.
And though you got out first,
hasn't he lost like most of them?
Just wait here.
Oh, first person out gets a car, and it just happened to be your friend Mac.
Dawson shows that FTC laws require that giveaways do not require any sort of paid entry or consideration to win.
A contest, for example, eliminates chance, and a sweepstakes eliminates consideration. In determining if any MrBeast giveaways have been illegal lotteries, we need to identify a prize, which is distributed through random chance and cannot be won without spending money.
However, MrBeast has done numerous streams saying that if you buy a t-shirt, you will win a prize, but it was never clear whether anyone actually won any prizes. Furthermore, he talks about how Jimmy promises
See, now that's
all
fucked
sorts of
up.
giveaways,
That's
but
wrong,
never
and that's
actually
lying,
follows through.
and that's
If
unethical.
you keep things fun and interesting, as if putting a photo on the moon isn't interesting enough. Someone who puts a photo on the moon, or if you buy the bundle, whatever, and the next 30 minutes, we'll just fly you down to be in a video.
3 years later, the spaceship finally launched, carrying beautiful pictures of deceased loved ones to the moon, where they would be immortalized. It fucking exploded. So obviously MrBeast refunded everyone, right? Right? Is it MrBeast's fault that the rocket exploded? No. Is it his fault that he advertised it as for $10, I will put your photo on the moon?
For $10, I'll put whatever picture you want on the moon.
When he couldn't guarantee that? Yes, of course.
Dawson uses all this evidence to point and create the
That's a gray area. That's a gray area. Because, like he said, MrBeast is not at fault for the rocket exploding. So that's not something that he could have foreseen. Right? You can't, like... That's a gray area. That really is a gray area. Because it's not his fault that the rocket exploded. And if the people who are making the rocket guaranteed him that the rocket would work, then, you know, it's not really... Like, he could not have foreseen that the rocket was gonna fucking explode. You know what I mean? So that's a gray area. I'm not saying that because I'm not saying this because I don't want him to give people their money back, or I'm not trying to suck MrBeast off, but like, you have to, like, think about this realistically. If a factor that was, if a company, can you really hold a company at fault for a factor that is out of their control? You know what I mean? It's like, it wasn't in MrBeast's control that the rocket was gonna go fucking Oppenheimer and blow up. So can he be held responsible for the rocket be exploding? You know what I mean? Because I don't know. That's a gray area. Because technically he didn't fulfill the end of his contract, or the end of his fulfillment. He didn't fulfill his deal. Like, the pictures didn't end up on the moon. So, like, for goodwill, yeah, he probably should have given the money back. I'm not saying he shouldn't have. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have given the money back. For goodwill, he should have given the money back. But once again, it's not illegal because he can't be held liable for the rocket exploding. You know what I mean? That's a tough one. That's a morally gray one.
fact that MrBeast, is baiting his viewers to watch more so he can have better watch time, to have better relationships with advertisers, make
That's what every YouTuber does. That's what every content creator does. They clickbait so you can click on their videos so that they can get ad revenue. That is what every influencer does.
more money, etc. Feed the beast, as they say.
Prolonged attention is definitely a form of consideration. In the attention economy, it is...
I don't think you should have kept this argument in his video, because his argument is stupid. Every influencer does this. They clickbait, or they do something to get your attention so that they can make money off of your attention. Every influencer does this. Musicians, actors, companies, everybody does this because attention is currency. This is a shit argument.
The valuable resource that advertisers directly pay MrBeast for. So in these live streams, when MrBeast says, hey guys, today we're doing a bunch of illegal lotteries, but also we're going to be giving away some free stuff to people who keep watching, he does that to boost viewer numbers.
And if he gives those free stuff away, like if he gives the free stuff that he says that he's going to give away, there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. The only issue out of all of this is if he said, I'm going to give you stuff for subscribing, and he doesn't give the stuff. That's the only issue. But if he did give that stuff away, this is a mute and void argument. This argument is shit.
End of the video is saved for Dawson talking about Beast Burger and Feastables and how Jimmy is a hypocrite for claiming that he wants to condemn the unhealthy food of America.
I wanted to just make a better for you snack brand because I think a lot of the stuff out there is just terrible for you.
Because obviously so much obesity and disease comes from the stuff we eat. Like Hershey's, for example, there's 10 ingredients, super processed. Our Feastables bars are 5 ingredients, and just all the
straight up, I think influencers need to stay away from like selling food.
Mass
straight up,
some of the most unhealthy products to young children.
Mr. Beast also just launched a combo with Zaxby's, which if you get a soda, it's over 2,000 calories for one.
The only successful content creator to release some kind of digestible food is like Prime. And even then, KSI and Logan Paul with Prime, even they're like facing a lawsuit right now. Like, I think influencers need to stay away from the food industry, straight up. They need to stay away from the food industry.
One meal.
Because obviously so much obesity and disease comes from the stuff we eat.
The only thing real in this video is the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's.
I'm pretty sure this would be illegal in Europe. This is like more calories in one meal than the average 10-year-old is supposed to consume on a daily basis.
Then Dawson takes this point and ties it back to the illegal gambling point and the illegal lottery point by showing that Mr. Beast has even added forms of lotteries or gambling to Feastables, encouraging kids to further engage with his branding in hopes of winning some free chocolate. Chocolate, yes! I love it!
To celebrate our launch of milk chocolate and sea salt, we went out and we bought 10 Teslas, loads of cash, and all these prizes you see on the screen. And prizes aside, unlike Hershey's, these bars only have 4 to 5 ingredients and just genuinely taste good.
All right, I'm going to tackle this once again. I'm going to tackle this very little differently, because you have to understand there's a difference between something that is illegal and something that is viewed as illegal, right? Or something that is viewed as bad. Mr. Beast can make the argument that this isn't for kids because he's selling cars. Kids can't have a driver's license. So he can make the argument that, nah, this isn't for kids, or this specifically isn't tailored towards kids because I'm giving away cars, right? That's the argument he could make. I'm not agreeing with that argument, but that's an argument that he could make, right? Apart from the Willy Wonka outfit, this ad in and of itself has nothing to really indicate that it's towards kids, right? If they're tackling this ad specifically, now if it's the channel in general, then yeah, you can make that argument. But for this ad specifically, the only thing you could say is like the Willy Wonka outfit, and even then, that's kind of a stretch because he's giving away cars, and like sure, some minor other stuff like earbuds and like gaming consoles. But even then, the main demographic of gaming is like 18 to 25-year-olds. So it's like, for this ad specifically, it's hard to say that it's aimed towards kids because of the stuff that he's giving away, right? That's just the argument that I feel like he could make to defend this.
Go to Feastables.com right now and order some chocolate. Only problem is the chocolate river is deteriorating. All the
The only place you'll find no purchase necessary is either on the Feastables Twitter account because it's a rule of the platform, and even still they try to push it. No perched neck, or hidden deep in the Feastables website under a FAQ. And to enter for free, you have to mail in separate 3" by 5" hand-addressed written index cards, up to 10 a day.
Since the release of
okay,
part
that's
one,
fucked
that video
up.
has absolutely
That is fucked
exploded. I covered it, kind of shat on it a little bit. I feel bad about that. By the way, I foresee a Mr. Beast video coming soon called $1 Lawyer versus $1 Million Lawyer, because this is some crazy shit to just allege. Yeah, it's $1 million company. I don't know. It's kind of scary. I don't know if I would be saying that. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. Since then, I have interviewed Dawson, released a part 2. We talked about it, and I believe that he is coming from an ethical perspective, which is cringe as it may be. I do think that it's probably pretty smart to approach this stuff ethically, because the systems that are already in place that you have to abide by to be successful on YouTube or social media in general are sort of unethical as it is. That's the nature of business and the nature of all this stuff, and like,
yeah,
it's
that's
very
true.
complicated. It's a minefield. I like the idea of just always trying to improve, and when people criticize you, you can change and improve through that criticism. And I believe that Dawson is an excellent vessel for this, for anyone. Not just Mr. Beast, but a lot of content creators who want to be incredibly successful. I like Dawson. I'm gonna be honest. I really like Dawson. He's a very cool, guy who I think means well. His first video is not monetized. His second video is not monetized. Sure, he's getting a lot of views and clicks and all this stuff, but like, this is journalism, guys. It's like actual real life YouTube journalism. It's not what I do. It's not what any of my commentary compatriots really do. It's like CoffeeZilla and then Dogpack. The two biggest stories that have ever come out of YouTube, the Logan Paul shit and also now this Mr. Beast stuff. So
yeah, that's fair.
You know, think what you think. Let me know what you think down below.
Yeah, no, like I'm just like, once again, I'm just making it clear. This is just my opinion. I'm trying to tackle this from as many perspectives as I can. This doesn't mean I'm like trying to defend Mr. Beast, but I'm trying to tackle it in a way from like a business standpoint and like a legality standpoint, because just because it's viewed unethically does not mean it's illegal, right? And because it's not illegal, he's probably not going to face really that many consequences, and that's a reality that I think a lot of people are going to need to accept. Mr. Beast is not going to really face that much shit from this. Like he let's just keep it real. He is too far up the ladder to be affected by this. In the long run, short run, yeah, sure. I'm sure like he's probably down a lot of sales and a lot of money for this month and probably for the next couple months as well. But in the long run, this means nothing. This really means nothing. Right. And that's just what I'm trying to like convey. I don't agree. I'm not trying to defend Mr. Beast, but I'm just trying to like come at this from angles and make people understand that, like, yo, from a business standpoint, from a legality standpoint, these are what he could do. These are the things that he could say or do to get out of this. Right. And that's just kind of where my head is at. Right. I'm trying to be as reasonable and like, I'm trying to tackle this like as straight and narrow as I can, not trying to pick on the side.
So yeah, like 12, 13, 11, I don't even know how many views it has, his part 1 video. Since then, there's been no response from Mr. Beast, no action whatsoever. People want action. They want to hear what he has to say. About 2 weeks have passed without any kind of new news.
I don't think he should say something.
This date,
but I don't think he needs to. I'm gonna be real. I don't think he needs to. I think he should. I think he should.
This time, the
but I don't think he needs to.
Are far worse. After the release of part 1, Dawson had a ton of people reach out to him with negative experiences that he could share. The skeletons, one thing.
See, now we're getting to the territory of shit I don't know. Of like, because apparently a lot of people reached out and I don't know about any of this shit. So perhaps I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot from my yapping for the last like what 20 minutes, half an hour. So we're gonna see.
Once they start falling, they just keep on falling. The dominoes, the Jenga tower, however you want to see it. Part 2 substantially worse than part 1, and the new allegations Dawson made. He didn't wait for a response from Mr. Beast before launching that second volley. And holy shit, it's pretty wild. He opens up the second video with an ode to Content Cop. He replicates the OG costume, the music, the chaotic intro sequence, not sequent. So there's entertainment value there. There's some humor there. But when you get past that, what exactly does Dawson try to say in this video? Well, this time he is joined by another former employee of Mr. Beast, a writer for the channel named Jake Weddle, who throughout the video shares his experience that he had working at the company. And it's not as good as the experience that Dawson had. And Dawson's experience was already pretty bad. And also, it's important to note too, Jake is the one that's coming forward and like the focal point of this second video. And he's the one going public with all this information. Dawson states that there are many, many, many more people, hundreds, he claims, that wish to remain anonymous but share very similar stories, and people have shared screenshots and text messages, and a whole bunch of wild evidence has come out since part 1, and it has been tied to part 2.
After posting, I got hundreds of messages from former Mr. Beast.
Show them to me. Make me look like a fucking idiot from everything I just said in the last 20 minutes. Show them to me, bro. Show them to me.
Employees, and I had them all like send proof of former employment. You know, just people showing their support or telling their stories of you know, fake videos or unsafe practices, you know, toxic workplace, stuff like that. I'm not really going to get into those claims because, for one, like, most people want to stay anonymous, which I understand.
And a lot of people will probably shit on this. Well, if they want to remain anonymous, then they're, you know, what they say could just be lies, and they can't be held accountable, and they can't be held to a standard of integrity because they're remaining anonymous. But man, shoo bud, walk like a duck, quack like a duck. There's all these people coming out. You gotta have some problems. There's some problems. There's definitely some problems there. There's certainly some problems. And with all the Logan Paul stuff, also Logan Paul's in Mr. Beast videos. Why is Logan Paul in Mr. Beast videos? Why is Logan Paul buddy with Mr. Beast?
Because he's a very big influencer that he can use to gain traction and engagement. The fuck? Why else would he be in the video? Like, why else would he not be in the video? He's a controversial influencer that'll bring up engagement from him being in the video. Why else would he be in it? That doesn't mean that. Oh my god, that's actually funny.
What the? Why is that a thing? That doesn't seem right. So now it's time to go through the claims that are made in the second video. If you guys want to know, I would recommend watching the second video for yourselves as well as the first video. I'm sure I'll probably have Dawson on to interview him to clarify any stuff here. So ask your questions down below. I want to get as much context as we possibly can and do as much thinking as we can and maintain a middle fair ground until Mr. Beast responds and we give him a chance that he rightfully deserves to defend himself, if that's even possible in this scenario. This video is bad. It's really bad. It's like, I'm trying really hard. Okay, guys, trying really hard. The first claim that's sort of briefly mentioned is that there was a cameraman for the 100 Boys and 100 Girls video that was creepy towards women and made them feel uncomfortable.
During the 100 Boys versus Girls video, I have people corroborating the same story that the camera guy who gave the girls a drone was making some girls feel uncomfortable. You trap these girls in a circle and make them sleep on rough turf and get them high on paint fumes and then you try to f them.
That's bad. Beyond this, there are several little things that are
That's
teased.
pretty
the
bad.
primary
That's
focus
pretty
of
fucking
this
bad.
video becomes an interview with Jake Weddle, the man we introduced earlier. A man who was supposedly pretty high on the company totem pole. Jake worked for Mr. Beast in 2019 and 2020, and he was both on and off camera. He describes himself as the following.
Most people who, if you know me from Mr. Beast, I'm a deep cut. I'm in a few of the videos, sometimes maybe purposefully kept to the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor a lot of the time. But I've been in some videos. I've worked on a lot of them. I was there from 2019 to 2020, 2021-ish when I came back and did some more. I was there when they were authentic, and then I saw the transition to what I feel like is a company. He's like a TV show now. It went from YouTuber guy with a camera to Amazon.
Jake then describes the existing split in
I mean, you cannot agree with that, but that in of itself is not bad, right? And, I'll shut up and I'll keep my mouth closed and let's hear more about but that in and of itself of him going from being a traditional YouTuber to upping his production value to be a TV show, that in and of itself is not really that bad. I'm just saying.
In company culture into two tiers. People that Jimmy liked who got random bonuses and screen time.
The culture around there was very...
Now, I did hear about that there was a lot of favoritism. And that is not... The last thing you need in a company is favoritism and nepotism. Those are the two things that will destroy a company from the inside. Because if you show favoritism, that means that shows everybody else that if they do, that no matter how hard they work, they'll never receive anything for it because they're not related to you. So that I wholeheartedly disagree with. I think that's very fucked up. I've seen it destroy companies. I've seen it firsthand what it does to people. Favoritism and nepotism are the viruses of companies, and they will destroy you from the inside out.
Unspoken, but there was a vibe. There was half the people who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and were usually moved up, had more screen time.
And then people who Jimmy didn't like, who were often left out or their footage was just chopped and left on the cutting room floor, etc.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
If you had a disagreement or butt heads with Jimmy or just you didn't like it, you were the other half.
So that's a claim, you could say, Mr. Beast being sort of unfair. He just puts people he likes in the videos, puts people he doesn't like out of the videos, cuts them out, which that sort of makes sense, right? Like you're not entitled to just be in someone's videos. He is Jimmy Beast. He's Jimothy Beast. He has the mark of the beast. Jake says that he was in the half that Jimmy didn't like, and he followed it up by saying it's fine because he doesn't like Jimmy either.
I consistently was in the half that Jimmy doesn't like me. That's fine. I don't like him either. It's okay. That feels so good to say. I don't like Jimmy. I hate you so much.
Then he looks at the camera and delivers a hard line. I would say that this could be seen as something that sort of devalues the argument, just saying you hate someone. It kind of points out that you're maybe a disgruntled employee and you just want to see the world burn.
That is something that you should not have said at all. Because if you're a disgruntled employee, it does destroy your credibility a little bit. Because if you're somebody that hates the owner, then that could be your motive for lying. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he is lying, but that's how people can take it. Because if you say, "Oh, I hate Jimmy," then people could be like, "Okay, then you're doing this because you hate Jimmy." It doesn't mean it's true. You're just doing this because you hate Jimmy, right? That's what people could say. So I do think that was a blunder on his part. And once again, I do think the favoritism, nepotism is fucked up. As for cutting people out of the video, it might be immoral, but it's his video. He can do what he wants with it. If he wants to cut you out, he can cut you out. You know, it's not, I mean, how's that any different than movies? You know, in movies, they cut out scenes that either the director doesn't like or isn't good enough. It's the same thing. If he cuts you out the video, he cuts out the video. It is what it is. You know, it's not your choice to make. It's his video. It's his channel. You know what I mean? So that's just, it sucks, but that's just the way it is. He can't give everybody equal screen time.
Instead of actually achieving.
Now, if the cutting of that is based on whether he likes you or not, then yeah, that could say it's fucked up. But once again, the act in and of itself is of cutting people out and to make the video better. That's just how it is. That's nothing wrong with that.
Some kind of positive end result, which is fair and valid, I guess, if you just want to see shit get taken down and tarnished. But there are going to be a lot of people who are going to try to disprove all of this, and the disgruntled employee discreditation is something that's very real and people have used in the past to defend Mr. Beast. Me, I've done that. I'm sorry, I've done that. I have done that. Yes, I was a Mr. Beast apologist, and now I'm normal, I guess. I don't really see any indication that there is an iceberg or that this would be just the tip of said iceberg. Evidence or not, social media doesn't give a fuck. There's blood in the water, dude. There's an opportunity to tear down Mr. Beast right now, and that seems to be what's going on. There's a lot of...
I mean, to be fair, how many people have we seen say Mr. Beast is a Satan because he helped people in Africa? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think it's wrong for people to be like, oh, someone doesn't like Mr. Beast, so they're doing a hate campaign, because people have done it before. So I don't think it's immediately wrong to do that. I mean, how many people, like, this dude goes to Africa and like helps people have homes and like a good, like, and have like a semblance of a normal life. And people will be like, oh my God, this white savior complex over here is doing this because he's a racist and likes being a fake hero and all that shit. And I'm just like, even if that's the case, he did more than you. So, you know, it's like, I don't think it's a wrong to like, for people to like not immediately jump aboard the Mr. Beast hate train, because this happened. Like, a lot of people, this has happened before. A lot of people have just come out and just said Mr. Beast is a piece of shit because reasons. So, and I think this is the only time where people are like, Mr. Beast is a piece of shit and had actual reasons. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's wrong for people to not immediately jump on the Mr. Beast hate train.
Stuff coming out. The Mr. Beast witch hunt has officially begun. Jake does say that he was disgruntled for quite some time.
And I was, disgruntled for quite some time. So I've talked to reporters, right? Like, publicly.
Also, just being disgruntled doesn't invalidate you at all, by the way, either. Like, for example, if I had an employee, I have a lot of employees.
It doesn't invalidate you, but it does shoot your credit. It does shoot your credibility in the foot, because you're giving people a reason to not believe you. That's the truth. Like, it doesn't. Like, once again, you have to understand. You have to stop. You have to stop arguing this from an emotional standpoint. Sure, yes, it doesn't invalidate you, but the reality is, if you say you're a disgruntled employee, you shoot yourself in the foot, because now you're giving people a reason to not believe you. That's the truth. Like, if I say, oh, I'm doing this because I don't like Mr. Beast, then that means you have a motive that isn't objective. You're doing this because you don't like the dude. So that means there could be hidden intentions. This could be a motive to just stop a guy you don't like. You know, that's how people can interpret it. That's how people can look at it. And that's the truth. So when you say you're a disgruntled employee, sure, you're not invalidated, but you're shooting your credibility in the foot, because now you're giving people a reason to not believe you.
If one of them was very disgruntled and I didn't know, I feel like I would know, probably. I've had some, there's been some negative moments, whatever, but I try very hard to not leave people out in an unreasonable way. Like, if obviously I'm not going to invite everybody all around all the time, that just doesn't make any sense. But it's like, there's a certain, I don't want people to be disgruntled. I don't really want them to.
No, I think you're well within the right to cut people out, right? If it's your video, your channel, you have every right to be like, okay, this scene with you and it sucked, I'm going to cut it out. I think that's it's your video. It's not their video. It's your video. It's your channel, right? I don't give a fuck if you don't like it. It's my video. It's my channel. If I think that in this clip, you're not doing that well, or it doesn't, or this clip, I don't think this clip is that good, and it just so happens to have you in it. I don't care. I'm gonna cut you out. You know, yeah, it's just like that's just how I would view it. It's the same thing with like movies and directors. Like it's too much of this emotional bullshit. Like it's your video, your channel, right? And obviously there's a limit. Like if you get to a point, there's a point of unreasonable, right? There's a point of like, okay, clearly, like there's a point where you can say, oh, clearly there's a motive behind this. Like what the fuck's going on? Why are you cutting out this many people and all that shit? Sure, there is a point you can do. There's a point of no return where people can start getting suspicious. I agree. Like I'm not saying like intentionally cutting people out is wrong. Or I'm not saying like once again, wait, but I'm fucking up my words. I'm not saying that like intentionally cutting out people isn't wrong. That is not wrong. It is wrong to a certain extent. There is a point where people can argue like, yeah, okay, what's going on? What's the motive behind this? Why are you intentionally cutting this one person out? I can agree with that. But at the end of the day, to a certain extent, there's nothing like, I think there is an extent where like it's totally fine to do that because it's your video, it's your channel. Sure, if you're doing a collab, I do think it's wrong to like cut out a lot of people and cut out people more than they should. But at the end of the day, like if the clip of this person isn't good, I think not even just Mr. Beast, every content creator, I think they have the right to be like, okay, you suck in this clip, so I'm not going to keep it. It is what it is. Like you have to stop tackling this from an emotional standpoint. This is just straight up like, if this clip with you in it sucks, I'm not going to put it in.
Hate me. I don't feel good when people are upset because of me, and I like to resolve that situation. I don't know if that's normal. So like having an employee years on saying they're just clearly disgruntled would me up. I feel like that would suck. Yeah, and I feel for Jake though, really. Then they go on to talking about faked videos, and they talk about,
I think that's too much of a goody two shoes take, because in business, being too kind will fuck you up. That's the truth. In business, being too kind will fuck you up. Now, don't be wrong. I'm not advocating for mistreatment of employees. They have rights. They have everything that comes with it. And obviously, an employee that likes you will work harder than an employee that doesn't like you. So obviously, treat your employees well. Like treat your employees well, pay them right, do them well, give them all the crowns, support them, appreciate them, all that shit. Now, I'm not by no means by advocating for mistreatment of employees, but you have to be realistic. Not everybody's gonna fucking like you. Not everybody's gonna fucking like you. That's just the way the world works. You have to accept that not everybody, no matter what you do, not everybody's gonna fucking like you. And to the people, if there's people that don't like you, you have to be like, okay, if you don't like me, then get out of my life. You have to be able to do that. You can't just be like, oh, well, I hurt you and now you're mad at me, so now I have to do my best to make you feel better. No, fuck you. I'm doing my best. I will do my best to make you, like, to ensure that you feel good as a person, and like, you know, I won't mistreat you. But if no matter what I do, you just don't like me, then fuck off. Like, it's just what it is. Leave. Get out of my life. I don't care. Like, that's just what you have to do. You cannot live a life trying to be a good person for everybody, because you can't.
the video where Jimmy crushed Jake's car with a meteor.
He wanted to do a prank where, unbeknownst to the person, he takes a rock, crushes their car, and they're supposed to think a rock came out of space.
We're gonna take a meteor and we're gonna put it on Weddle's car. We're gonna take another meteor and put it on Marcus's car. Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Weddle and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
And so that was the one and only time I had to, huh? My car? What?
He had to play up and dramatize his reaction, and he texted his mom, so when they called her to tell her, she could also play up everything and dramatize it.
So I had to text my mom, who had to beg to get the title very quickly. Now I'm texting my mom, I go, Mom, I'm about to call you about the meteor thing. You have no idea? Be surprised. And then I hit send, and then they go, call your mom now. And I call my mom and I tell her, and oh, she should have got the Oscar.
He's helping Mr. Beast's fake content is the claim here. He's like an actual witness to this because he perpetrated it. After the dramatization or faking, they gave him $10,000 to buy a new car, and the $10,000 was supposed to be the down payment so he could get like a flashy car, but his salary couldn't afford a...
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, $10,000 for a new car, that's fucking nothing. I will say that I will say if they didn't just straight up give him a new car after destroying his old one, that is I think it's actually like I think he could actually sue Mr. Beast for that. Actually wait, no, maybe not, because they gave him $10,000 compensation, so maybe he could work his way around that legally. Fuck yeah, that is fucked up. That is very fucked up. I was like, wait, $10,000 can't buy you shit. That $10,000 can barely buy you a Toyota Corolla. No, it will buy you a Toyota Corolla, but like that's a shitty ass car. That's probably worse than his old one. So, damn, that's very fucked up.
A big, awesome, nice car, so we got a minivan.
Because like with $10,000, okay, maybe you could have put a down payment for like maybe not the flashiest car, but even still, if they're gonna destroy his car, the least they could do is guarantee that they can get him a better one, right? And that is either help him with give him a down payment, give him a reasonable down payment or a better car with enough extra money to help with car payments and insurance. I feel like that's what they should have done. But well, obviously they didn't do that, and I will say right now that's the first heavily egregious thing I've seen that from this whole Mr. Beast situation. Once again, I haven't looked into it at all, so that's the first heavily egregious thing I've seen.
Minivans are pretty expensive though. They're pretty slick, dude.
They're supposed to give me $10K to put a down payment on a new car, and they wanted me to get like a big flashy new car. $10K was supposed to be a down payment.
And at this point, I'm going to start referring to Jake as Weddle, because soon we'll be talking about another former Mr. Beast employee also named Jake the Viking. So I think calling Weddle will help distinguish the two from this point. But Weddle elaborates that his pay was dog shit. That's why he couldn't afford a van or a car better than a shitty Chevy van. I don't know if it was a
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Because you can't afford a down payment on a new car. That would imply that his payment what he was getting paid was shit. So fuck. That's really bad. That is really fucking bad. How much was Mr. Beast paying these dudes? Because that sounds like it's close to like maybe not that much higher than minimum wage if that's the case. Because if you can't afford down payment on a car, that sounds like it's not that much higher than minimum wage, or I don't know. That's just what I think. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it's clearly not enough. That's actually insane.
Chevy van. I just always call vans Chevy vans.
I can't afford a big flashy new car because I work at Mr. Beast. So I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the taxes on. I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the insurance on. So I do my part of the video, and I get a mom van that I could afford. And Jimmy was like, why didn't you get a cooler car? I was like, I can't afford that, bro. Come on, what are you talking about?
He then says that if he had worked on a TV show in the 90s that was a quarter as successful, he could retire by now, but that wasn't the case with Jimmy, which I don't really know exactly the context of that.
If I was working on a TV show in the 90s, on a show that was a quarter as successful, I could retire today. But now I make dog shit pay, making gajillionaires more money. And I just walked into the writer's room, and that's one of the reasons why I left.
And in spite of Weddle's pay being unimpressive by his own standards, he shares that he had it better than another writer. Weddle shares that himself, a young 20-something white guy, was paid more than another writer, a black fellow, who was older and had kids to take care of.
There was another writer.
Oh, shit.
Older comic, black guy.
now we can't have a situation without racism, you know what I mean? Let's get into it. Tell me how Mr. Beast is the Grand Wizard. tell me how Mr. Beast is Hitler. Tell me how.
He had a kid, and I got paid more than him, and I thought that was wild because he was older than me, had a child. We're doing the exact same job. And I'm some 20-year-old white guy. Why am I getting paid more than him? I brought that up.
I assume the implication here is that there's a level of racism at the Beast compound, and Weddle's already saying that he's not being paid enough, and then he's like, well, look at this guy who is not a white guy, and they're racist here. He's being paid even less than me, so it's like extra bad. I guess that's the implication, I assume. And then in this moment...
Oh, that 100% is implication. Why else would he say? Why else would he infer the race? That's 100% the implication. Whether it's racist or not, it's very bad. It's very bad. I don't know, like, I'm not even gonna try to, defend it. Whether it's racism or not, right? Just because, this is just because of this one instance, you can't just claim racism. But whether it's racist or not, the situation's bad. Like, a dude with a family should not, like, And I think he said like he's been there longer, like with more experience. So if that's the case, yeah, the black dude should have been getting paid more. Not even because the dude has families, because he has more experience, and I think he's been there longer. I think that's what they said. I'm not entirely sure. If that's not what they said, then, but either way, if they're getting paid dirt wages, then that is not good at all. I'm turning the light on so you can see me. I think it just the sky just got dark as fuck.
Moment, Weddle gets emotional and begins to cry because he feels guilty about the way that things played out. And he says that he spoke up because he wanted this other writer to be compensated appropriately, even though the other writer hadn't wanted to rock the boat, but he trusted Weddle and joined them in the meeting. And that resulted in both of them being let go with severance checks.
But he said, hey man, if that's how you feel, you know, like if that's like, I trust you. He stood with me. He went to that meeting with me. And I said my piece and he backed me up. And I said, I need XYZ or I'm out of here. And they said, bet. And they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance check the next day.
So, you know, Weddle at this point is posing himself as the ultimate virtuous hero, essentially. And we get an idea as to why Weddle was emotional, because he was thrilled to be paid to leave, but the other writer was devastated because all he'd wanted was to just be in the room.
Me, I was over the moon. I was like, you're gonna give me a check and I get to leave? You know, I don't get to deal with the yeah, how many Orbeez can I fit up my asshole every day? You know, and I get to go home and you're gonna pay me to leave. I was over the moon, and he was devastated. He did not want. I said he just wanted to be in the room, you know.
He didn't actually want to get fired or anything like that. So
yeah,
it's you know, Weddle.
That's a fucked up situation. It really is. This is why, man. This is why you just got to pay your people properly. You got to pay your people living wages. You really, like, the amount of companies that like there are a lot of companies that can literally afford to pay their employees livable wages, even in the shit company. They just don't do it, and that's very fucked up, right? Even including Mr. Beast. I know I've spent the last 3 days trying to be straight and narrow and defend him, but no, I'm not. I can't defend this. I cannot defend this. Livable wages is not something to be tampered with. They really shouldn't. Like, if they do the work, pay them properly. It is what it is. Pay them properly.
Made demands. This guy faced consequences. Also, Mr. Beast, you know, meet them. I'd say this is a very area of gray. There, you know, HR could handle this for sure. Proper HR could definitely handle this situation. And Weddle clearly feels guilty about this, and he's being honest, clear and transparent. Weddle describes Jimmy as an opportunist, and that when he does philanthropic things, it's calculated because of the gain that the philanthropic activity will result in.
Unless the philanthropic videos are fake, there's nothing you could say to discredit what he does in those videos. And that's the God honest truth, right? Sure, Mr. Beast may be a shit person, but whether they're unless for a fact that the philanthropic videos are fake and he's not actually doing any of the shit that he says that he's doing in those videos, or he's claiming to help people across the country, across the planet, there's nothing you could say to discredit what he does in those videos, because at the end of the day, those videos are genuinely helping people. Even if they're calculated to boost his engagement, it doesn't matter. He's helping people, and that's the fucking truth. There is absolutely nothing, unless you can verifiably prove that those videos are fake. There is nothing you could say to discredit those videos. And sure, maybe Mr. Beast took that into consideration. That's probably the only reason why he's doing the philanthropic videos, not because he genuinely wants to help. But either way, those people are getting help. For those kinds of situations, it really doesn't matter the motive, because the results speak for themselves, right? Unless those videos are verifiably fake, there is nothing he could say to discredit those videos, and that's the truth. There will always be people that support those videos, no matter the motive, because the results shows for itself. He's helping people, and that's all that matters.
And the furthering of all of that.
I think it was the smartest decision for him that he calculated, because he's very good with numbers. If I donate to charity, people can't say I'm shitty. If I give this homeless guy 10K, what do you mean I'm a bad guy?
I've been guilty of saying that, you know, so what? Who cares? It's philanthropic. And that...
Look, that's the God honest truth. Like, it really is. It really is. He might come up with an argument as to say why it's not good, but at the end of the day, once again, unless those videos are proven to be actually fake, which I think from the last clip they aren't, because even if they're calculated, Jimmy did do those things. Unless they're proven to be fake, you can't say anything to discredit what he does in those videos, whether it's calculated or not. It doesn't change the fact that he donated to charity. It doesn't change the fact that he helped people see again. It doesn't change the fact that he built people who didn't have a home. It doesn't change the fact that he didn't do any of those things. You know what I mean?
That's sort of true, but I actually don't hold myself to that standard. In fact, whenever I do anything philanthropic, I always keep it secret. So it almost seems like I've done nothing philanthropic ever. That's supposed to be a joke. I'm sorry. I think it's clear at this point, this Weddle guy doesn't like Jimmy very much, all right? So we're in 2020 and there's bad blood already between Weddle and Jimmy. But Weddle would still return to the channel back in 2021 for a video that never was uploaded because of how poorly it went. There's a video on the Mr. Beast channel from 2 years ago titled $10,000 Every Day You Survive Prison. It has over 200 million views, in which a guy is put into solitary.
They took that video down. I remember seeing that video. I don't think I watched it, but I did see it like places. They actually take that video down.
Solitary confinement, and each day that he stays in there, he gets $10,000. Weddle reveals that this was the second attempt to make the video after he tried to do it first.
People don't know that was the second attempt. The first attempt was on me. And it didn't go well.
And the way that he describes his experience with that video and the filming of it sounds like it took inspiration from Guantanamo Bay, if true. Weddle described the facility as terrible and the following.
It was a terrible facility. I mean, he was in one of the studios. They had to get a separate tank for, septic stuff. Yeah, there was a hot tub in it. Yeah, there was an ice cream machine. Things were cool and funny on paper. But when you think about stuff, a hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink.
So yeah, that thing stunk. Ice cream machine smelled like shit. Weddle also claims that they didn't turn the lights off at any point, so there was no light or dark cycle emulation for circadian rhythm, which is just torturous in and of itself.
They weren't turning the lights off. I asked them, I said, can we have nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what, me sleeping? Or me not sleeping?
It also made it so Weddle had no way of knowing how long he'd actually been in there, or, it made.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I won't lie. There was, I think, did I talk about this in the beginning? God, my memory's so shit. I think I did talk about this in the video. I think this is the clip I saw where, it was only like 30 seconds, but he was complaining about the lights. And from that 30 seconds, I was like, yeah, he's kind of whining. But nah, now that there's more context, holy fuck, that is bad. Even prisons have filtration. Even prisons have in solitary. Well, actually, no, I don't think solitary confinement doesn't have any of that shit. I think solitary confinement at least still has a toilet that's connected to a fucking septic tank, right? So, honestly, that is very fucked up. That really is, if true. Because, okay, so first off, the hot tub with filtration, that's just collecting shit. It's collecting bacteria dead. That could legit get him sick. And honestly, it could kill him if he's in there for long enough. And then, the ice cream machine, honestly, I don't even know why they would put an ice cream machine in there. I didn't watch this video. I saw the thumbnail and I didn't watch it, so I don't know anything about the situation. But so the ice cream machine is pretty stupid in hindsight, because if you're not doing anything to maintain the up, if you're gonna put shit for this video, and the whole point of this video is he's gonna be there alone for days and days on end, you shouldn't put shit in the confinement that needs maintenance and upkeep. So the hot tub is if it's not connected to a fucking septic tank and a filtration system, it's stupid. It's just gonna collect bacteria the more he uses it. He can only use it once, and then that's it. And even then, it's still gonna collect bacteria and cause ammonia to spread in the air, which could get him really fucking sick, which is probably what happened. And then the whole ice cream situation, ice cream, it's probably, yeah, sure, there's probably a cooling system in it to keep the ice cream frozen, but even then, once again, bacteria, air, oxidation is going to cause the metal to slowly build up bacteria, dirt, and collect dust and rust, right? Because there's no maintenance, there's no upkeep, there's no cleaning. It's just, that is very fucking bad.
Made it impossible for him to maintain any sort of sleep schedule or take this opportunity to stop watching the video and go do something outside, and go touch grass or whatever. You know.
No, I'm good. I play gotcha games. I haven't seen grass in the last 3 years.
Anyways.
I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there.
Weddle points out that nighttime hours were something that were present in the video that was uploaded the second attempt, but the video that Weddle was in made him feel like he was a guinea pig that was just tortured, and they learned what to fix for the video so that it would actually go live and they would, you know, recoup their torture investment, I guess. So then we get to the point in which Weddle loosely accuses Mr. Beast of committing a war crime on him.
And I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists.
Yes, the United States considers sleep deprivation a form of torture and war crime under the Geneva Convention and UN Torture Convention. Damn. Jimmy, Mr. Beast did commit a war crime. God damn. This man went against the Geneva Convention. That is fucked. The UN defines torture as any or mental pain or suffering, and the sleep deprivation can cause serious physical and mental harm. It is also prohibited by international laws, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment of detainees. So, yeah, Mr. Beast is fucked. If that's true, Mr. Beast is fucked.
Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing.
So apparently this is what he was told when he raised concerns in regard to the refusal to turn the lights off to his friend. Dawson clarifies this in the video and states that he's technically unsure if it is a violation of the Geneva Convention. Imagine if Mr. Beast violated the Geneva Convention. That's be insane.
That would be wild.
Which, you know,
that would
sure
be
this isn't,
wild.
like, technically against the Geneva Convention on torture because he wasn't technically a prisoner. Like, he could have left at any time, but because of the extreme pressure to stay in, it's not really a reasonable expectation that he could have just, you know, walked out. Because of the implication.
At one point in the filming of Weddle's time in solitary, he also shares the following.
When I'm receiving some cash, he said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans?
What the fuck?
You know how hard it was to do a take of that? They pretend to make it genuine.
So they wanted him to praise Jimmy for giving him money to pay back his student loans.
What the fuck?
Crazy. Tell him about how I'm the benevolent savior. It reminds me of that meme.
Hey, yo, Weddle, do me a favor. Look at the camera and tell everybody how I'm fucking God. What the fuck is that? If that's true, holy shit. Bro, this is more fucks than I thought. Oh my god.
Where it's Ronaldo and he's got the drink and he's got the camera and there's just like baby monkeys being tortured and stuff, and that's always what it's about, is baby monkeys. Weddle was the baby monkey in this case, and Ronaldo was Mr. Beast. Weddle also uses this information to point out that they were willing to fake aspects of other videos, but why weren't they willing to fake anything for this one? I mean, you could just lie and not. It'd be so easy to fake 100 days in solitary confinement. It'd be so easy to fake.
If they're faking videos, why couldn't we fake this one? You know, if we're allowed to let these cast members have some time off of this difficult challenge, how come we couldn't turn the lights off?
Dawson's first video showed when the 7 days at sea video faked them sleeping overnight, allegedly. So why couldn't they do the bare minimum of just turning off the lights for Weddle when he was 30 days straight in solitary? So, you know.
During this time lapse on the 4th day of 7 days stranded at sea, you can clearly see there's no one in the shelter. These are their empty beds. But after a hard cut, magically 5 people are awake, and 2 of the boys have bright yellow raincoats that they didn't have when it rained on day 2.
And after standing the whole night completely soaked...
You didn't spend the night soaked, Jimmy. You slept on the production yacht. It's ironic because this is one of the videos where they claim that they don't fake things.
But no, we have to be the real channel that doesn't fake things.
A lot of things that I am interested to see what Mr. Beast has to say about, and see if there is any process of debunking this, or if he's just like, yeah, sorry, we made a lot of mistakes. I'm so interested in seeing what happens here. You know, there's a
I still stand by my claim at the beginning of the video where I was like, I think Mr. Beast, once again, he should reply to all this and give clarity and apologize for a lot of this shit. He should do it. But the reality is, I don't think he needs to. I still stand by that. I don't think he needs to. I honestly genuinely believe if he just keeps uploading videos and just doesn't talk about this, people will forget. People will forget because this is not a universe. Because it's still not universally agreed upon that Mr. Beast is a piece of shit. Right, there's still a good percentage of people that still like are still going to defend Mr. Beast and say, no, he's not a piece of shit. It is what it is. This is that. It's that. I'm still going to continue to watch him. There's still a good amount of people that are saying that. Yeah, this is not an EDP situation where everybody comes together and says, yeah, this dude needs to rot in hell. Like, no, this is not that type of situation. This is a situation where Mr. Beast still has a very good amount of support. And by that support, it's going to cause discourse. And that discourse is going to cause misinformation and it's going to cause misinformation and degradation of degradation of opinions, all this shit. It's going to cause a lot of situations, which is eventually just going to cause people to be exhausted and want to stop talking about it. And then they're going to stop talking about it, and then they're going to forget. That's just what's going to happen.
A lot of weight in this, and we haven't even gotten to the crazy part yet. The crazy part is at the fucking end. That's not good, but I think what makes matters
it gets worse
is when Weddle says that Jimmy joked with him at the start of the video when he was sent to prison by saying, you're going to jail, you're like your dad.
But he says to me, all right, you're going to jail, you're like your dad.
Which would normally be a joke between like friends.
Yeah.
And Weddle would have been fine with that, but
yeah, that seems like a joke you would say with your close friends, but this dude does not. I think he made it clear that Jimmy and Weddle do not like each other, so what the fuck is that?
Jimmy was his boss. They're obviously not friends.
But when my friends do it, it's fine, and Jimmy wasn't my friend.
And it leaves even more of a bad taste in your mouth when you realize that earlier in the video with Dawson and Weddle, it was revealed that Weddle's father was in prison for sexually abusing a minor.
I had a very traumatic life.
Bro, why is it always the minors? I don't get. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is it always children? Oh my god, bro. Like, what the fuck? That couldn't have gone to jail for like bank robbery, you know, murder. It's always the fucking children.
My dad is in jail for sexual assault of a minor, you know, so this kind of stuff is very near and dear to my heart. You know, I don't fuck around with this shit.
So saying you're like your father before putting Weddle in a cage for 30 days without ever turning on the lights. It's absurd, right?
That's fucked.
Yeah, it's not good. Things push over the edge pretty easily there. It makes sense. Also, like, the pressure's on. If you f up here, the video is ruined, and it will be because of you, and you will certainly be fired.
Did you try to say no? Like, did you have a choice, or?
Based on the Rubik's Cube thing and based on all the other stuff, like, there was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know? And if I refuse, it's just, oh, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, you know, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing.
You know what? If it was me, I would have been like, well, that sucks. It's not my money. I don't care. You still need to pay me. That's how I am. Like, legitimately, if I was in that situation, I'll legit look at him and be like, oh, if he's like, oh, that's so much money, I'm just like, oh, it's not my money, so I don't care. It's so much money. And it's like, okay, it's not my money and you still need to pay me. Don't give a fuck. Like, what the fuck? You're not gonna put me in torture situations so that you can make money. If I was in that's how I am as a person. Like, straight up, if they were like, yo, we're gonna torture you for this video, and I'm like, and I'm like, okay, cool. Are you gonna pay me a lot more for it? And they're like, no, but like, you know, if you don't do it, we're gonna lose all this money. We already invested. We're all this shit. I'm just like, well, that's crazy, bro. Sucks to be you. I'm gonna have to find somebody else. Not my money. Don't give a fuck.
Then they go through essentially what's more torture.
Jimmy comes in and I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is. I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 or whatever. He's like, why is he sleeping? I don't know, because I can't sleep. And he comes in, he wakes me up. And he goes, ask me why I have 2 briefcases. And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, oh, because this one's for today, you know, and this one's for the challenge. And I go, what's the challenge today? He goes, you're gonna run a marathon.
With Weddle spending a bunch of time in that room and him on the treadmill, etc.
You're gonna do 22.6K, whatever it is. You're gonna do it on that treadmill.
22.
The first challenge I did was
22 kilometers. What the fuck? Fuck that.
I'm dyslexic. I'm dumb. I don't know how to do Rubik's Cube. So your first challenge, Rubik's Cube. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I was like, on camera. I don't want to do that. He goes, just do it for the thing. My kid, you know.
Then when Weddle finally left the room he'd spent weeks in, he said that Jimmy seemed so fake in his interaction when Jimmy checked in on him.
He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. You know when you're watching a video And he's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he like touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just. I didn't have to pretend to do that shit.
And it quickly turned into making sure that Weddle wasn't going to sue him or the company, which is pretty fucked up, having to ask someone if they're going to sue you because of the essentially torture.
As if rehearsed by his lawyers.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you know, your mental health's the most important thing. You know, just want to make sure you're okay. And the last thing we want you to do is. I can almost hear the word sue come out of his mouth. The S, he just stopped right before it got out.
Then Weddle reveals that he wasn't even paid the full amount that he was told he was going to be paid. Instead, he got a fraction.
I did not get the $300K. What I got, he goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You know, you were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges, so you got, you know, 100,000 some change, you know, give or take.
Nah, that's fucked up. I know very well that people are gonna make the claim. Well, it's still $100,000. Doesn't matter. He was promised 300K. He was guaranteed 300K, and he only got 1/3 of that. That's fucked up. That is fucked up. I know a lot of people are immediately gonna go, well, it's still 100K. It doesn't matter. He was promised 300K for doing this rigorous activity, and he didn't get it. That's the whole point. That's fucked up.
I assume this is because he tapped out before the full 30 days. Not 100% sure. So it was like prorated, considering what he was put through, though you'd think that they would compensate him fairly well. I'm not sure. Then Dawson interjects some text exchanges here to add context of the.
And it's like, it only makes it worse through all the torture shit. And the possibility that Mr. Beast broke the Geneva Convention. Let's keep that in mind as well. Because once again, this is an unreleased video, so nobody actually knows what happened. So I don't know, maybe there were some fine prints as to why he didn't get the 300K, which once again would be very unethical. But probably he could probably find some legal loopholes so that he does, so it's not like he could face any like legal repercussions from it. So it's a fucked up situation. It really is. Ethically, especially all the shit that Jimmy put him through, he should have given the 300K. Ethically, that should have been the case.
The events and
legally, he could probably find some legal loophole as to why he didn't give the 300K.
Between Weddle and former other people around the shoot and all that stuff, it's pretty good. He affirms that everything he's saying now is exactly what he said then. It's also revealed that Weddle was in therapy following this time, and his body took quite the beating with blisters and sores bothering him for days after the fact. It was voluntary, surely, but like there's a weird level of pressure and just kind of a desire to want to perform.
It was under duress. It's very much under duress. Just because he volunteered to do it doesn't change the fact that it was under duress. So there's a difference between voluntarily doing something and doing something under duress. Because when it's under duress, they're not forcing you, but they're inducing you and implying you to do it, which in turn makes you do it. It's like if a dude is like, it's like a dude with women, right? How a lot of women will say they had sex with him because a lot of girls will say they had sex with the dude because they were afraid of what he might do if she said no. So even though it's still consent, it's still under duress. It's still like fucked up, right? So it's a very fucked up situation. That's the type it is. It's a legal loophole that a lot of companies can use because it's very hard to prove. It's very difficult to prove when something is under duress because you have to have like visible like evidence to show like, hey, like they were implying like, if you don't do it, my mom's gonna die, like they have to have like actual physical evidence to prove that it was under duress. So it's very hard to prove when something's under duress. So that's why a lot of companies and a lot of people will use that kind of implication to kind of force you to do it without outright forcing you to do it.
And I don't know, you got to be really careful from the Mr. Beast side ethically there. Definitely was not handled correctly. I keep saying it was voluntary because I know that's a lot of people's criticism. Is like, why is he yapping so much? Wasn't he there on his own? Why is he get a job somewhere else? It's a little more complicated than that, guys.
Yeah, it's a lot more complicated. I can understand the I understand the argument of you signed up for this, and whether you like it or not, that is a valid argument. But it gets complicated because technically he didn't know that he was signing up for a war crime. So let's keep that in mind. So it's a very fucked up situation. But I think if Mr. Beast was compensated, I genuinely believe Mr. Beast compensated properly and gave him the 300K and was like, hey, you know, my bad, or at the very least turned off the fucking lights. This probably wouldn't have happened. But yeah, that's just me.
Come on, let's be real. Don't be like me, all right? And then this part is where things get pretty crazy, pretty alien. Dawson drops some wild shit. For example, a no does not mean no section in the Beast employee handbook, and a section of how to succeed. It's a Mr. Beast official document company.
Holy fuck. Never take it no at face value. If we need a store thing inside the Dollar Tree, the person says no, you can't film here. That literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees, see if they are fans that try talking to their boss's boss, have me in DM their on Twitter. Okay, hold up. If after all avenues are exhausted and you're left with no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge. Dude, don't just person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is okay, that's implicated. Okay, that title is wild. That title is wild. He should not have mentioned that. But if you read through it, basically it's saying, okay, if they say no, you can't film here, I'll be like, okay, let me talk to the owner of the business and get their permission. Like, okay, this is kind of misleading. I won't lie. This is kind of misleading because they're implying that this is like, oh, even if they say no, just shove a camera in their face and disregard them. No. It's pretty much saying, okay, if the employees say no, talk to the managers, talk to the bosses, talk to the boss's boss, have me talk to the boss's boss so that we can get permission. And if all other avenues are exhausted and you're left with a no, go to another Dollar Tree. Don't continue in that one. So go somewhere else and don't continue there. So even if all options are exhausted, they're still not going to film there. So honestly, this isn't that bad. I'm gonna keep it real. This really isn't that bad. This is just, okay, if the employee said no, but ask the managers, ask the general manager, ask the regional director, have me talk to the bosses so that we can get permission. Because it might be store policy. Because at the end of the day, it might be store policy to not record in a Dollar Tree. But if Mr. Beast wants to record in a Dollar Tree, I'm pretty sure the general manager is going to be like, sure, give me the free advertisement. Like, what the fuck? They're still getting permission. They're just going above and beyond to get it. And even if they still don't get it, they go somewhere else. You know what I mean? So like, this is kind of misleading. This is kind of make it seem like, oh, shove a camera in their face even if they say no. No, yeah, like, honestly, this isn't that bad to me. This really isn't that bad to me. This is nothing.
Basically says that if you go to a location scouting it to film and you're told you can't film there, you are not allowed to take no as an option, and staff for Mr. Beast is advised to seek out employees and bosses who might have kids who like the channel to use that to leverage manipulation. Like, that's insane. I can't even record in public, let alone imagine writing this non-ironically. That is crazy.
I honestly think he's blowing this out of proportion. I honestly think he's blowing that out of proportion. Because, okay, now if this is more so, now look, okay, if this is more so forcing the employees to go out of the way to do this, then yeah, I can understand why that's fucked up. I can understand why that's like, okay, you shouldn't force your employees to go network for you. You know what I mean? Networking is your job as a CEO. Right. So like, sure, like I can understand like forcing your employees to do that, it can be fucked up. But the act in of itself is, if the lowest person on the food chain says no, you go higher on the food chain and get permission from someone else. That in of itself is not that bad. He's still getting permission, and if they say no, they still go somewhere else. It's not like they continue to film there. They go somewhere else based on, I mean, look, like, let's read it. Am I crazy? Let's read it again. Like, straight up, am I crazy? Let's read it again. Am I crazy? Where is it? When dealing with people outside Mr. Beast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, you can call the local Dollar Tree, and the person that answers says no, you can't film here. Then that literally doesn't mean shit. I mean, let's keep it real. He's not wrong. Like, when you're a person who is big enough, they bend the rules for you. So if Mr. Beast wants to film at a place where they normally don't allow filming there, guess what? It's Mr. Beast, so they're probably gonna do it, right? So that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if any are fans, or if any of the kids, and if any have kids that are fans. Try talking to their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social team, etc. If all the avenues are exhausted and you're left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Because basically what I'm trying to convey is that this is what we call pushing through no. Don't just stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is when many tools that are combined dramatically improve your probability of success when you're producing here. It even says stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. So even still, he's like, if everyone says no, then yeah, stop and go somewhere else. But look, maybe I'm an asshole, but I genuinely don't see anything wrong with this. I really don't. It's just, if they say no, talk to the boss's boss, go to the general manager, have me talk to the GM, or have me talk to Dollar Tree. You know what I mean? It's like, or have Jimmy or Mr. Beast talk to their boss's boss. You know what I mean? It's like, I genuinely don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think, maybe I'm an asshole, maybe I'm a piece of shit. I can't see what's wrong with that.
Scouting it to film and told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. Huh? What is this, the CIA?
It seems to be co-opting the popular anti-rape slogan, which is a terrible look given the allegations that are going to be coming out very soon. It reads, when dealing with people outside Mr. Beast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you can call the local Dollar Tree, and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit.
Don't just stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. Huh? What is this, the CIA? That's really weird and really bad. That's really weird and really bad. I've got an employee handbook, and it's nothing. I'm going to tell you what, guys. It's nothing like that. Holy shit. Here comes...
Okay, that's you. That doesn't mean that... Okay. I got an employee handbook, and it's got nothing like that. Okay, that's you. And I'm not saying you're wrong for not doing that, but it's... Oh my god, like, literally, there's nothing wrong. He couldn't even give a reason as to why it's wrong. He just said, oh, it's bad. He couldn't even give a reason to why it's bad. He just said, oh, it's bad. Like, look, it might be wrong to you, and if it's implying that, like, he should force his employees to do it, I can understand why that would be wrong, because you shouldn't force employees to do anything. But this in and of itself, it's not saying continue to film if they say no. It's saying continue to seek permission by going up the ladder, because usually when someone like Mr. Beast says, hey, I want to film in your store, because it's Mr. Beast, they'll probably let you do it. And even if they say no, go somewhere else. He's not saying to continue to film there. This is a stretch. I think this is. I can agree the title is fucked up. Like, I can do the title's like this is a wild title. Of like, this is a wild title. They knew what they were doing when they made this as a title. This is a wild title, but the context in and of itself, like, I'm gonna keep it real. This is kind of a stretch. I generally don't think you get anything wrong. Just because you won't do this doesn't mean it's bad.
Holy shit. Here comes all the crazy shit. Dawson asks Weddle if there was ever any sexual misconduct outside of the allegations currently surrounding Ava Tyson, and aside from, like, water cooler talk and rumors.
But it's like water cooler talk, but I've heard things, yes, of course.
Weddle shares that there was a sex offender who was on the sex offender registry working at the company.
You know, the tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. You know, how do you prove that, you know? Well, there was a known
sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender.
And in the video, it looks like this may have been shown in like at some point, but it was blurred after the fact, I assume, because people were doxing this guy.
That's okay. That's wild to me how so many of these people working, how so many of these companies cannot just find out that these sex offenders exist. Like, I can understand if when you hire them, they have a clean slate, and then while they're employed to you, for some reason they just get an urge to start touching babies. Like, I can understand how that can be like, okay, fuck, I didn't know it was clean slate. Fire him, get him out of the company. It is what it is. But if this guy was on the registry when he applied, how did you not find, like, no background check, nothing? You couldn't find this dude? Like this ain't McDonald's where they're hiring teenagers and you can get in by applying online. Like, what the fuck? This is Mr. Beast. This is a guy with a social media presence and reputation. So, like, why would you not do a background check on that type of shit?
Blew up massively on Twitter, and a ton of information has
I know why, because that probably costs money and they don't want to spend that.
Come out about this, and in my opinion, this is the thing that needs to be addressed. Like, genuinely, everything else for sure needs to be addressed, but this is like, you did what? You did what happened?
Yes, I didn't know there was an allegation other than the Ava Chris Tyson situation. So, because I know he talks about the Ava Chris Tyson situation, that's why I didn't bring it up. But for this, if there's more allegations, yeah, once again, he should. This is probably the one thing that he probably has to talk about. Everything else he could probably ignore. This is probably something that he has to talk about, because this is like crimes committed.
You hired who? Strange. It also turns out that this sex offender is actually a relative of another former Mr. Beast employee, and the circumstances around this are very disturbing.
I've always said this. Nepotism, bro. Nepotism is the virus of company. Favoritism and nepotism are the viruses of companies because they kill it from within. You cannot show favoritism. You cannot show nepotism. You hire people that are qualified for the job, period, point blank. That's just, bro.
Jake the Viking! Yay! But before we get into that, though, Weddle also put out his own video. I would recommend you guys checking that out and coming to your own conclusions for all this. What do you think about Dawson? What do you think to his character? Do you think he's, is this just virtue signaling nonsense? Is there, big chunks of ethical truth? Do you think that all these content creators should be held to insanely high standards because they're using a system that's like really easy to
No, I don't think content creators should be held to unrealistic standards, because the reality is, if you're playing the game that is the YouTube algorithm and they play it well, that just means they're smart. That's just what it is. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. It doesn't mean they do shitty things. It just means they're smart. If they play the game that is the YouTube algorithm and they're good at it, then you just got to be better at playing the game. That's just what it is.
Manipulate, and I don't know. What do you guys think down below? Let me know. What do you think of Weddle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Like, I can understand nuance in like certain situations where, like, okay, they're doing something unethical, they're doing some shady shit. I can understand that. But in general, the idea of content creators clickbaiting, using the algorithm to their benefit, understand the YouTube algorithm, doing this, doing that, that's just understanding their industry and trying to make it work for them and be better and be at the top of the game in that industry. It just, like, that's just what it is. That's just, they're just playing the game that is YouTube and like Twitch and influencing. It's just, they're just like playing that game and they're good at it. So honestly, no, sure, there might be nuanced situations where you can hold the content creators accountable, but in general, that concept of just understanding the industry, no, I don't think like there's anything wrong with that, or content creators are a piece of shit for doing that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I genuinely read all these comments, and I want to know what the thoughts of specifically, the constituents of my platform believe. So back to Jake the Viking and the whole sex offender thing, and Weddle. Weddle alleges from what he hears that this guy is on the registry and that they knew that.
From what I hear, I can't confirm or deny. From what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And I knew that.
Back up. We're not gonna skip past that. What the fuck?
To some underage people.
What? 12 months? Bro, that's a fucking fetus. What the fuck? Ooh, oh my god, that's actually like, bro, I need, for someone like this, I really want to study their brain. Cause like, how does anyone, oh my, that's actually disgusting. What the fuck is that?
And they knew that. He's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people.
That's his allegation, that this guy, he's on the registry for sure, but he alleges that they knew that.
Even if that guy didn't do anything, they still knew about it and he was still around.
And the fact a person like that works for Mr. Beast, which I would argue is a child-dominated channel.
You know, it is. I know, I can agree that the Mr. Beast channel is very, like, it's very heavily towards kids. I don't want to say heavily, but definitely like children are watching that shit. It's not like I don't want to say it's the, like, I don't know his analytics, and maybe I'm just looking at it from a different perspective. I don't want to say children are the main demographic, but they're a very big demographic. They're very big demographic. Like, there's no chance that less than like 20 to 30% of his viewers are children. It's probably way more than that. I'd probably say like, actually, I don't even know. I don't know. Like, I don't want to make any claims or assumptions. That's just my thing. But I can agree that like a lot of children are watching this shit. Like, this is probably like a very, and yeah, they also bleep all the curses. You know what? No, I changed my mind. Yeah, this is definitely directed toward kids. His channel as a whole is definitely directed towards kids. It definitely is. It definitely is. I changed my mind. It definitely is. So having someone like that in your workforce, who, bro, I can't get one, like, not like, that whole age bracket is disgusting, but one, oh my god, that's actually disgusting.
By its fan base, it is sickening. That is a sickening fact that anyone like that could work for this company. Say what you will about forgiveness, second chances, exoneration, time going by, rehab, therapy. You don't have to work.
Yeah. Like, I can understand giving second chances and rehab and like all that. Oh my god, bro. I can't, bro. I can't move past that fucking one. All right, whatever. Okay. Holy shit. Like, okay, second chances, rehab, they're trying to curb their, sure, I can understand that. I can respect that, but it doesn't look good, and it doesn't look like you're trying to curb your impulses or your delusions or your mental instability when you're working for a company that is aimed towards children. Let's just keep it real. That's like you wouldn't hire, like, sure, I'm all for second chances too, but you wouldn't hire a sex offender or someone on the sex offender registry to be working at a fucking daycare. No one would go there. No one would trust their child to somebody who's working at who's a fucking sex offender at a daycare. Like, the fuck.
For Mr. Beast, all right? You don't have to work for Child Channel, all right? You don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to work for Nickelodeon. I don't want these people working. They should be treated differently, all right? They should. You don't get to work for Mr. Beast, all right?
Yeah, that's true.
You got to go knocking on door to door. Good. Yeah. Also, you shouldn't be able to work for Mr. Beast or anything that has to do with children in any way. The Weddle parts were mostly speculative, but it is eventually pointed out that this specific character they're referring to is called Delaware.
But when I was there, they called him Delaware. It's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently, they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware.
And this is a guy that could have been in the Discord server as well.
Like, bro, if this is true, because it's good that he said that there's no proof of this, because this is straight up allegations. But if this is true, holy shit! I think Mr. Beast needs to come out and be like, yeah, no, this isn't true. I didn't hire a sex offender, and once again, this is why Twitter drama sucks, and I feel like a lot of people need to go to the court of law, not Twitter, because now Mr. Beast needs to somehow prove that he didn't hire a sex offender. Because let's keep it real, this Jake Weddle guy, he did nothing to prove that there is a sex offender working under Mr. Beast. He just said, oh, I heard this and I heard that. So now Mr. Beast has to somehow prove that he didn't hire a sex offender. If he didn't, whether this is true or not. Like, now Mr. Beast has to prove that, yeah, no, I didn't hire a sex offender. But like, how is he going to prove that? You know what I mean? This is why Twitter drama kind of sucks.
Somebody who's genuinely on the registry. We later learned that this character is known by someone specifically on the Mr. Beast team. That is Jake the Viking. So we go to Twitter and we see Jake the Viking essentially live tweeting the intro of Dawson.
Oh, so Jake the Viking is confirming this. So then, on second hand, Jake the Viking is confirming that. Are we implying that Jake the Viking is confirming everything that's being said in this video? Because so I mean, Jake the Viking is also confirming that there was a registered sex offender working under Mr. Beast. Because if that's true, then that means there is credibility to it. There's still no proof. But it does add credibility. But once again, there's still no proof. So now Mr. Beast has to once again somehow prove that he didn't hire a sex offender. So it's like, how do you prove that? You know what I mean?
Dawson's Part 2 premiere, talking about Weddle, confirming things with Weddle. Then there's no response after that first tweet from Jake the Viking until today. And today, Jake the Viking clarifies that Delaware, the registered sex offender from the video, is his brother-in-law, a guy who's actively...
Bro, every time I open my mouth, literally 5 seconds later, I get proven why I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, so this is his statement saying that he's proved that this guy is my brother-in-law. Okay. So, once again, this adds a lot more credibility. I wouldn't say this is verifiable proof, but this is very much like, yo, this is kind of leading towards to the more true than not. This is very much very much more true than not true. I can still say that, you know, it's still not verifiable proof, but this is not looking good, bro. This is definitely more so leaning to, yeah, this is probably fucking true.
In his life, his brother-in-law. So he tweeted a couple months ago, Jimmy knew that it falls right back to him. This guy's it's his brother-in-law. What the is going on right now? How many people are doing this sex offender shuffle?
And brother-in-law implying that his sister married a sex offender? What the fuck? Did she know?
In this circle, what's going on? Jake the Viking stated on Twitter that he was the reason he was even...
Or no, it's his brother-in-law, so it's probably his sister's brother. I was thinking his sister married a sex offender. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god, who married a fucking sex offender? No, it's probably his wife's brother. That's probably what it is.
Been hired by Jimmy, and that he sat down with Jimmy and his mom and explained to them that he was in fact on the registry and that they kept him there. He was a behind-the-scenes manager and was in videos but wore a mask. Guess why? Probably because he's a sex offender and shouldn't be showing his face on a channel that's made for children. So according to Jake and Weddle, Mr. Beast knew that they hired a sex offender, and you know, it's kind of bizarre. I've been critical of Jake the Viking's credibility before, but him trying to take the high road here in this situation, in my opinion, has completely ruined his credibility, because he knew as well and used this in other interactions with Ava. Ava was using this against him and he was like, oh, like, what? So Jake is the only reason that this sex offender even has a job. So it's like rules for me. What do you guys think about this? This is really...
That's also true. I didn't think about that because I don't know who this Jake the Viking is situation. I didn't even know he talked about like Mr. Beast before in the past. I don't like, once again, I know nothing about the situation. You know, I did say that, you know, it's still not verifiable proof. But you know, I think this does lead into the fact that, you know, it is true that maybe Jimmy did hire a sex offender, but apparently he knew as well because it's his brother-in-law. So apparently he knew as well and didn't say anything until Mr. Beast went up in flames until this whole situation happened. So you got to ask the question, if this situation didn't happen, would he have said anything about, you know, about this whole situation with the sex offender? Would he have said anything if this situation didn't happen? Because he could have said that he could have mentioned this before, but apparently he didn't, from what I understand. Apparently he didn't say anything about this before. But now when Mr. Beast is in heat water, now he's bringing it up. So it does put this into question.
It's really confusing to me. Maybe I don't understand the situation properly. As for the sex offender, the story is that when this guy was 21, a 16-year-old girl came out and accused him and others of SA when she was 11 years old. So if we do the math, Delaware was 16 years old and the girl was 11. A 16-year-old biologically mature man and a child. That's the context. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's very bad.
Yeah.
This led to Delaware apparently taking a plea deal that put him on the registry, but he didn't have to actually serve jail time. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know a lot about plea deals, but you know, what I kind of do know is the sort of meme around plea deals, and that is you don't have to sit before a jury and be judged by your peers. It's like you take a lesser.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what a plea deal is. Plea deal is, it's a deal. You take a lesser sentence for you take a lesser punishment than you do. Like, okay, how do I explain this? You don't go to prison. You don't go to prison for a punishment that is decided by the judge for a lesser severity, right? You take a less severe punishment and you don't go to jail, but you have to do something in return, which is like community service, going on the registry, but in turn you don't go to prison, right? That's what a plea deal is. It's like, okay, don't send me to prison because you know what happens with fucking baby touchers in prison. You know what I mean? There's an unwritten rule in prison where if you're a baby toucher, you will get murdered, right? That's the unspoken rule about prisons, right? So plea deal is basically, don't send me to prison and I'll put myself on the register so that way that way everyone around me has to know that I'm a sex offender, but don't send me to prison to be killed by a bunch of burly men named Tyrone. You know what I mean? That's basically, plea deal is basically lessen my sentence and I'll do something else in return, but lessen my sentence. That's basically a plea deal.
Charge or something to commute a set. Like, it seems weird. I don't know. Plea deals are strange. Then the ending of the tweet states that he believes that this sexual offender did nothing wrong and he looks forward to his charges being dropped. So even if Delaware is innocent, this is now someone who.
So wait, now it's like he didn't do anything? So now he's claiming that he didn't do anything? So then what? Oh. Okay. This is such a weird situation. So now he's saying that his brother-in-law is innocent and didn't do anything and he's just waiting for the charges to be dropped. Then if that's the case, if that's the case, that kind of changes the situation a little bit. Because if Delaware verifiably proved that, like, hey, these are false allegations, I'm in a court case right now to get my charges dropped. I am not a registered sex offender. Well, he is a registered sex offender. I'm not an actual sex offender. I still think it's very stupid of Mr. Beast for hiring a registered sex offender. But if he proved to Mr. Beast that, like, it was false accusation, I'm in a court case right now to drop my charges, and like Mr. Beast, he convinced Mr. Beast with verifiable proof that, like, I didn't do this. It's a false charge. I'm trying to get my charges dropped and take my name off the registry. Then, like, I can kind of understand why Mr. Beast wanted to have faith. I still think it was stupid. I still think it's very stupid and retarded that he hired someone who on a sex offender registry to work at Mr. Beast. But, oh my God. So now he's saying that, like, it didn't happen. It was a false accusation. He's trying to get the charges dropped. Like, oh my God, the situation just gets more and more complicated. What the fuck?
Who is defending a sex offender who got him his job at Mr. Beast headquarters, but was also calling out Mr. Beast about this beforehand. Two, it seems confusing. Once again, maybe I'm not understanding this, so take it with a grain of salt, but it seems odd to take a hard stance on this and then turn around and then just defend this guy. The plea deal, also confusing. This is all really bad, and I need explanations from everybody, including Jake the Viking and Mr. Beast. Like, what is going on here? This is insane. All
this is
also
such a weird
super
situation.
Unfortunate timing with Mr. Beast's new toy line being announced. So all the drama's going on, he decided to launch a toy line specific to his channel. Awful timing. Terrible timing. And I'm assuming more and more stuff's going to come out. There's already a lot, I'm sure, by the time I've recorded this.
Bro, Mr. Beast is doing exactly what I said he's probably going to do, and that's just ignore all this shit, continue doing his thing, post content, not talk about this, and eventually people are going to forget.
I'm sure there's 15 more things. This video will change. It'll be outdated by the time that it comes out. But we actually try to do research and try to look into stuff, and we still fail and come up short. So I apologize. You know, I am fallible. I'm a human being. Just kidding. I suck. No sympathy. I suck. So yeah, I'm looking forward, awaiting anxiously Mr. Beast's response to this. This is very bad. PR team's got to be shitting themselves. There's going to be a lot debunked, I'm sure, because there hasn't been any kind of response at all aside from Chucky. He didn't do a very.
Yeah, Mr. Beast has done a very good job talking about the situation. I'm going to end it there, though, because at this point, this video is a fucking Avengers movie at this point. I don't even know how long I've been recording. But basically, I don't think my stance has changed too much after watching this. I think my stance is very much the same. I do think one thing has changed. I think one thing Mr. Beast does have to do, is address this whole sex offender shit. And was there sexual assault allegations? I don't even remember. I think there were sexual assault allegations. No, yeah, with the cameraman from the 100 Girls, 100 Boys shit. He needs to address those two things. Other than those two things, I honestly think he has enough power, money, and influence to just not talk about anything else, and then just release the investigation once they're done the investigation, and then just move on with his life. Genuinely, I think Mr. Beast can legit just talk. All he has to do is just address the sexual assault and then the whole hiring a baby toucher. I think those two things he has to address. Everything else, once again, I think he should address them. But realistically, I don't think he has to. I really don't. I honestly think he could just keep his mouth shut, keep uploading content, release that toy line. Then once the investigation is done, it's like, here, this is the investigation. This is who did it. This is what they claimed. It is what it is. And then just continue on. And then that method may burn bridges. It probably will. He's probably not going to have a lot of, he's probably lost a lot of, pretty much all his YouTube connections probably from all this shit. But the reality is, he's so big, I don't even think it matters that much. I really don't, because once again, he can make a video that will pull more views than the Super Bowl without any of them. And that's the fucking truth. So I don't think my stance changed that much. I think Mr. Beast, the plan for Mr. Beast, or the goal, I think the plan is just, keep your mouth shut and move on. I think that's honestly what Mr. Beast is probably going to do. That honestly, because it's just like the two, the sexual allegation and the whole child thing. He has to talk about those. He has to, because those are things that people universally agree upon. That is very fucked up. So I think those two things he has to talk about. Everything else eventually will become water under the bridge, and everybody will forget. And that's just the truth.